Ladies and gentlemen, yes, you see it. I've been meaning to put this video out for quite a while. I've got several requests from people to ask me to talk about why, after Super Bowl 53, I guaranteed the St. Louis Blues would win the Stanley Cup over the Boston Bruins in Game 7 and win by the score of 4-1. And the answer is simple, and we're going to get into this. But before we get into this, understand that common sense and critical thinking is not conspiracy theory. That's number one. Number two, you're talking to someone who's called 5 straight Stanley Cup finals correct, including this year. We just saw another ritual that went on last night that I uploaded to Patreon talking about who's winning the cup this year. You can sign up for that. It'll be linked in the comments section if you want, but you don't want to be a shit-talking hater, because the death of Bob Plager that happened about a week ago really gave me the motivation to finally make this video, because a lot of people had said, have you really called 4 straight Stanley Cups prior to this year? I want to see the evidence. Well, we can get to, well, you can already go back and watch the one we did last year with the Lightning and the Dallas Stars if you want to go back and watch those videos. We'll get to 2017 with Pittsburgh and 2018 with Washington, I promise. But right now we're going to talk about the Blues and the Bruins. So sit tight, relax, and learn. So, this is the real story of the 2018-2019 St. Louis Blues. Now, to fully understand this script, we must first understand the 114th World Series and Super Bowl 53 and how that ties in perfectly with this ritual. Again, if you're new here, we talk about the language of gematria, which comes from Kabbalah, which has the belief that God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. And the people who operate by this code are the Jesuit order, known as the Society of Jesus, the people that gave you your calendar, the people that gave you your language. If you didn't know why English is the standardized language of the world, now you do. Letters, numbers, dates in the calendar. That's how these people operate. We talk about 4 base ciphers, the alphabetic order, the reverse alphabetic order, and the alphabetic order in the reverse with the rules of numerology, meaning you'll break every letter down to a single digit. Each word or phrase will have 4 numerical values assigned to it. Very simple code. You could teach it to a second grader. So, we're going to start right here with the 114th World Series, which was the 2018 World Series. And the 2018 World Series, the 114th edition, was between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Boston Red Sox. Now, Zachary K. Hubbard, I got to give him the shout out because he's the one that predicted the World Series would end October 28th, 4-1, which it did, because October 28th to Super Bowl 53, February 3rd, was exactly 99 days. And the 114th World Series ended 99 days before Super Bowl 53 that concluded the 99th season of the NFL. Are you following already? If you need to pause the video and go back, do so. So, Super Bowl 53, like the World Series, was also Boston and LA. And the Patriots won the Super Bowl 13-3, Super Bowl 53, a sum of 16 points, when 53 is the 16th prime number. So, notice how Boston Red Sox sums to 53. Stanley Cup sums to 53. What I had said was this was all the day after Super Bowl 53. I came to these conclusions. I figured it all out. I said the NHL in a normal season, which 2019 was, all the Stanley Cup always begins around Memorial Day. Memorial Day in the United States is always it's always the last Monday in May. Okay. And that year, Memorial Day was Monday, February 27th. And I said, my God, look at that. That's the 147th day of the year, and World Series sums to 147. And what I had said was, what I said was, look at this. When you run, I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can. When you run the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, the most pure cipher, Memorial Day sums to 57 or 53, excuse me. And I said, my God, look at that. You had the 114th World Series and 99 days before Super Bowl 53. And then the Stanley Cup Finals could begin on May 27th, which is the 147th day of the year. Like World Series is 147, and that's Memorial Day, and Memorial Day's 53, connecting to Super Bowl 53, and Boston Red Sox, who won the 114th World Series, synced with the Super Bowl, which is going to be synced with the Stanley Cup, also sums to 53. And then I said, look at this. I said, my dumbass face is going to be in the way. Hang on a second. But it says, I said, look at how from the Super Bowl to Memorial Day was exactly 114 days, reminding us of the 114th World Series that ended 99 days before Super Bowl 53, concluding the 99th season of the NFL. And Memorial Day's 53 and Boston Red Sox is 53. Then I said, that's it. Game over. That's the start date of the Stanley Cup Finals, and sure enough, it was. And what I said was, okay, the LA Kings suck, so we know it's not going to be Boston and LA again, but we knew you could pencil the Bruins in the Stanley Cup. We knew Boston was going to be there, said no doubt about it. Bruins are going to the Stanley Cup. This is too perfect. Now I said, who's going to be the opponent? I said, I got to figure out the opponent. And as I had talked about before, if you've been following on Patreon, I touched on this briefly. But what I stumbled across was I said, look at this. The Boston Bruins are currently 8-0 versus the St. Louis Blues in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They won two series. Boston swept both series. One was in the Stanley Cup final. The other was in the conference final. And I said they're 8-0. I said, isn't that too perfect? Because I said if the Blues beat the Bruins in Game 7, Boston will fall to 11-4 all-time versus St. Louis in the playoffs. I was like, that's it. I'm like, there it is. It's got to be. No doubt about it. It's got to be Blues over Bruins in Game 7. And I said, it's all about the 114th World Series, so expect the final score of Game 7 to be 4-1, like how the 114th World Series ended 4-1, 99 days before Super Bowl 53 to conclude the 99th season of the NFL. And then from Super Bowl 53 to Memorial Day was 114 days, and Memorial Day sums to 53, and Boston Red Sox sums to 53, and it was the 147th day of the year, like how World Series is 147. I said, there's no doubt. It's going to be Blues over Bruins in Game 7, and they're going to win 4-1. And you can see right here, Boston Bruins against the St. Louis Blues playoffs. Might be a little tough for you to see, but you'll see that they are 11-4 all-time versus St. Louis in the playoffs. And just like I had talked about, watch the Blues to win Game 7, which we knew was June 12th because it was a date with 57 numerology. And I said, watch, the Blues are going to get their 57th all-time playoff win on a 57-date numerology, and the final score will be 4-1. And that's exactly what it was. This is not conspiracy theory, by the way, in case you were wondering. Anybody can search the final score. Now, what's very interesting is The Blues' next game following Super Bowl 53, the Blues got their 53rd points of the season and it was their 51st game of the year. We're going to get to that. But I said, just look at this. The Super Bowl was February 3rd, and the Blues had 51 points. Then they played their 51st game a couple of days after the Super Bowl, their first game after the Super Bowl, and they got their 53rd points of the season. And I was like, my God. And what you have to remember is 2018, 2019, that was the Blues' 52nd season, but it was only their 51st season of play due to the 2004-2005 NHL lockout. I just said, look at how perfect it is. Los Angeles Rams, the opponent of the Patriots in Super Bowl 53, sums to 52, and Boston Bruins, who their opponent's going to be in the Stanley Cup, sums to 51. I'm like, it couldn't be any more perfect, truly. Unless you're brain dead, you don't know, this isn't making sense to you, you know? And again, they won 3-2 over the Florida Panthers. And notice championship sums to 131. Super Bowl sums to 131. 131 is the 32nd prime number. And when you write out 57, it's 131, like how the Blues got their 57th all-time win versus the Bruins to win the championship on a 57 date numerology. And I said it's the championship number. FIFA World Cup's 57, Stanley Cup Finals is 57, NBA Finals is 57, World Series is 57. And then it made me laugh that you can come to my blog, luxy91.blogspot.com. You can copy and paste this link. This article was from NHL.com. It says that Boston teams have gone 7-3 against St. Louis teams in championship matchups, including 3-0 in the past 2 decades. Overall, Boston teams lead St. Louis teams in championships in the 4 major sports 39-13, including 12-3 in the past 2 decades. And I said, look at that. St. Louis sums to 74-47. And in championship matchups, Boston's going to fall to 7-4 versus St. Louis, like how St. Louis is going to improve to 4-7, 7-4, 4-7. See how they do it? And in light of Boston leading St. Louis teams in championships in the 4 major sports 39-13, I said St. Louis Blues in the most pure ciphers 39. And I said Boston's not coming off 39 wins versus St. Louis, not against the Blues anyway. And notice Blues is 14, like how they got their 14th loss against the teams from St. Louis. So do you see how they do it? Do you see how undeniable it is when you learn the simple code of letters and numbers? It's just undeniable. So speaking about Bob Plager, he was one that played on those Blues teams that lost the first 2 series versus Boston. He died of a supposed cardiac-related event. And what I want you to see is how he died at age 78. His career ended in 78. Notice how Jesuit, who controls the world of rig sports, who murders people by the numbers, who controls government, media, military, the people who answer to no one, the Jesuit order, Jesuit 78, Bob Plager's 78, St. Louis Blues is 78. He played for the St. Louis Blues. His career ended at 78. He's dead at age 78. So you got to ask yourself, what are the odds? No one would question the death of a 78-year-old unless you know the code they operate by. Guarantee you this man did not die on Highway 40. Big Jesuit number 40. But he played for the Blues. As we talked about, Blues sums to 14, and he dropped dead March 24th, 2021, which was exactly 14 days after his birthday. And notice he dropped dead on the 83rd day of the year. Notice murder is 83, the inverse 38. as well. Notice the movie poster, Murder by Numbers. They changed the E to a 3 and the B to an 8. 3883, Murder 83 and 38. Think about the song Murder by Numbers that came out by the band The Police in 1983, where they said murdering people is as easy as ABC 1, 2, 3, which is what gematria is. ABC 1, 2, 3. Song comes out in 83. Saw somebody in the supermarket the other day buy an A1 steak sauce. A1, think about it. So here's another article you can copy and paste if you want from stlouistoday.com. You have to love that this article, if you read it, they start out by saying he died on Highway 40, which is Interstate 64. And it kind of reminds me about how Bob Plager, his career began in 64. And you'll notice that when you write out the word 40, it sums to 84. And that's another question I used to always have in school. Like, how come there's no U in the word 40? There's a U in 4, there's a U in 14. Like, shouldn't there be a U in 40? It's because it's the Jesuits who love that number. And Jesuits 84. 40 is 84. And you'll read in this story as well that he was pronounced dead at 1:15 p.m., like how St. Louis sums to 1:15. Very simple code. S the 19th letter, T the 20th, L the 12th, O the 15th, U the 21st, I the 9th, C the 8th, the 9th, or S the 19th. Added up 115. Same thing with 40. F6, U, O15, R18, T20, Y25. Added up 84. Simple code. And notice Plager wore the number 25. St. Louis is 25. They mentioned that he struck a minivan, supposedly, driven by a 46-year-old woman and who had a 20-year-old passenger. Two completely irrelevant details. We don't need to know the woman was 46. We don't need to know the passenger was 20. But the reason they reported that is because Catholics 46. Think about Slow Joe becoming the second Catholic president. The first Catholic president, JFK, dead at age 46. Notice death sums to 20. And the game played one day before Plager's death. Notice the Blues lost 2-0. And if you think it's a coincidence, we're going to once again prove you wrong. Notice the Blues lost 2-0 right before Plager's death. At age 78, when his name sums to 78 and his career began in 78 and Jesuit sums to 78, that was the 78th all-time matchup between the St. Louis Blues and the Minnesota Wild. You got to ask yourself, doesn't it feel good to be a conspiracy theorist? No conspiracy theory here, only conspiracy fact. Till next time, guys.